March is set to go out like a lion as an active weather pattern takes hold across the United States. We have all the details and more next at the Weather Farm. Welcome to the Weather Farm. We have the latest forecast for your Wednesday, which includes the threat of severe weather as we make our way to the upcoming weekend. As we begin our Wednesday, we are seeing some showers across southern Oklahoma and northern Texas. That is making its way off to the east. In the northeast, we have a low just north of New Hampshire that is spreading snow across parts of Quebec. And out west, across Danger Mountain West, we are under the influence of high pressure, which is bringing warm conditions to half of the United States. That warm air mass is going to gradually move to the east over the next several days as we replace that northwesterly flow with southwesterly winds in the eastern half of the United States. And we can really see where that northwestern flow is across the eastern third of the United States as we see temperatures in the 40s and 50s from Minnesota down through West Virginia into the northeast, while 70s and 80s are surging northward into the Dakotas, Central Plains, and through Texas. But out in the desert southwest, we are warming up, and we are warming up quickly. Temperatures are approaching the mid-90s. Century mark is easily within reach for many of those deserts across Southern California and Western Arizona. As we make our way to our Thursday, those scattered showers are going to move their way into Missouri, into Illinois. This is all associated with the warm front that is gradually lifting to the north and east over the day, Wednesday, Thursday, and into our Friday. We do have an area of disturbed weather across southern Texas associated with an upper level low that is going to bring a heavy amount of rainfall to that part of the country. Across British Columbia, Alberta, and into Saskatchewan, we see snowfall across those areas. Light snow at that, generally 4 to 8 centimeters at best. But in the Pacific Northwest, we see an atmospheric river beginning to make its way on shore with a very powerful low pressure system. And that is going to be the low pressure that is going to set the stage for severe weather across the eastern half of the United States as we get to our weekend. As I mentioned, that upper level low is going to spread heavy rain across parts of Texas. We could see down in south central Texas easily 3 to 6, even up to 8 inches of rain in some isolated areas, with that bullseye just to the north and west of the Houston area. Elsewhere, we generally see around a quarter to a half of an inch, though as we move our way up towards Oklahoma, we could see nearly an inch or two of rain by the time we end on our Thursday at 8 p.m. As we move up into the Ohio Valley, lighter showers with that warm front that's moving through, bringing the warmer weather. Generally, most rainfall across the Ohio Valley into the northern Great Lakes is going to be around of a tenth of an inch to around 1/4 of an inch. So let's just put all this into motion. We see those showers making their way out of Oklahoma on our Wednesday. Snowfall flying across the northeast, but there's that rain moving into central and south central Texas, and it's going to park itself there with that upper level low that's just going to sit there and spin and spin and spin. Across the Canadian prairies, we're seeing snowfall, and that atmospheric river is making its way into the Pacific Northwest by the time we get to our Friday morning, and we see that warm front lifting across Illinois and Indiana, bringing rain to that area. So taking a step back to our Friday, as that warm front continues to lift to the north and east, it's going to bring rain showers from Minnesota down through Kentucky. Just to the north of the Canadian border, we're going to see snow stretching from British Columbia all the way to Ontario. We are still feeling the effects of that heavy rainfall across south central Texas into Louisiana by the time we wake up on our Friday morning. So let's put all this into motion. We're going to watch that warm front lift, bringing that rain through Minnesota down to Kentucky, but that's going to develop into a very strong system of its own with heavy snow across Ontario into Quebec, with mixed precipitation across Michigan into New York, and that low is going to sink down into the northeast by the time we get to Saturday. And right behind it, we have more rain and snow making its way through the Ohio Valley and the Great Lakes ahead of that low that's made its way out of the Rockies for our Sunday. And where we see that rain on our Saturday, temperatures are going to be held down. So we're going to see 50s and 60s across the lower Ohio Valley, 30s and 40s to the north, where we're going to see that snow flying from North Dakota all the way over into Quebec and into the Northeast, while ahead of that next storm system across parts of Texas, where you were plagued with the rain Thursday into Friday, you are going to warm up very quickly. Widespread mid 90s are likely for your high temperatures on your Saturday. But if we just go to the north, where we could see temperatures surging towards 82 in Wichita, 81 up towards Kansas City, right across the state line in Nebraska, temperatures are going to be falling into the low 40s. So you can definitely see where that tight temperature gradient is going to set up, and that is going to be the mechanism that's going to start those severe storms going Saturday evening into our Sunday and lasting into our Monday. A very powerful spring weather system is in store for the Central Plains. So let's put this into motion. We see that system bringing snow across Colorado, Kansas, and Nebraska for our Sunday. Out ahead of it, we could have an area of severe weather from Illinois down through Arkansas, spreading into the southeast and into the Ohio Valley on our day Sunday into Sunday night. Behind it, it's going to wrap in some very cold air, and where we saw severe weather on our Sunday, we could be seeing snow showers across the Ohio Valley Monday and Tuesday. That all moves into the northeast by the time we get to Tuesday morning, and it's completely offshore by the time we get to Tuesday evening. So let's take a look at our instability. This is a measure of our CAPE values, the instability in the atmosphere with this particular system. So as we let the system reset, we're going to see that on Saturday, we are going to have a marginal level of instability across the Ohio Valley into places like Missouri and Arkansas. As we move into our Sunday, that area of instability is going to be confined along the deep south, Texas, Louisiana, into Mississippi. And as we go overnight into Sunday into Monday, that's going to shift slightly over to Alabama and Georgia. So we could have a severe weather outbreak for sure. To the magnitude that it will be impactful, we're just not quite sure yet this far out. So we're going to give the models a few more days to run, and hopefully by the next video, we will have a better update on that threat level. But one of the things that we do have is that the Storm Prediction Center has gone ahead and issued a 15% chance of severe weather for our Sunday anywhere that is shaded in that yellow polygon. This stretches from Columbus, Ohio, down through Little Rock into Baton Rouge, over towards Jackson, Mississippi, and into Alabama and far northwestern Georgia. So anywhere within that polygon, we would expect possibility of severe weather for our Sunday. As we get closer to that, we're going to continue to refine the exact threat that we would expect on our Sunday and where those will be most likely to occur. The other big story, we have wildfires that are raging across North Carolina on our Wednesday, and the threat of elevated continued wildfire risk stretches from northeastern Georgia all the way up into Maryland. But out across parts of New Mexico, we do have a chance of isolated dry thunderstorms with lightning that would spark wildfires across places like Albuquerque over towards Roswell. So we're going to keep an eye on New Mexico and the Carolinas up through Virginia on our Wednesday for the threat of fire. After we get through this weekend and its severe storms, as we see that trough moving across the Ohio Valley into our Monday, the weather pattern is going to get very active as we begin the new month. We're going to see some cooler weather initially for the eastern half of the United States to begin April. We're going to start to see some ridging trying to build, but mainly a zonal flow across the United States until we get until about the 3rd or the 4th, where we're going to see ridging building across the eastern half of the United States, and a strong trough digs deep into California and Nevada in the western half of the United States, and that is going to set the stage for another round of severe weather by the time we get to the first weekend of April. So a very active pattern across the United States to close out March and to begin April. And as we look into those long range patterns, we don't see that pattern is going to change anytime soon. In fact, some models are wanting to hint at maybe an upper level low sitting somewhere across the Great Lakes or Ohio Valley as we get into the second week of April. if that were to come into play, we could see some unseasonably cold weather for this time of year across the eastern third of the United States. Still 2 weeks away, a lot can change, but the models are hinting at something for that second week of April. And we'll be sure to bring you the latest here at the Weather Farm. Well, we hope you've enjoyed this video for your Wednesday. We hope you have a great day. We will have another video out for Friday in advance of those weekend storms. Just a programming note. We will be taking another short hiatus for our spring break over the weekend. So we'll have some short content available for you, but the next long form video after Friday will be next Wednesday. Hope you have a wonderful day, and we'll see you soon.